Hello, lovely. Thank you all for joining us this evening. It's so nice to see you for our very first training session for AI Early Years Fundamentals. My name is Alison Featherby, and I'll be hosting alongside my colleague Marnie Wills, who will be introducing ourselves in just a minute. So, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Yes, my name is Alison Featherby, and I've been in early years for all of my life, for over 40 years. And I've been Trainer of the Year, Nursery World Trainer of the Year. I'm currently working towards being much more online. I absolutely go into nurseries and preschools and do training and consultancy. And I've got my own learning platform, my VIP area, which is working out really well. It's like a community, a sort of safe space where people are exchanging ideas and training, etc., etc. But like probably some of you, I had some struggles where there's not enough time in the day and too many ideas in my head because it's just me, it's nobody else. In Alison Featherby Learning and Development, it's just me, and so I was having all these ideas and didn't know what to do with them all, and there was never enough hours in the day. But about 2 years ago, AI came into all of our lives in a big way. And since then, I've developed my AI skills and my AI journey. I sort of think of myself as a maybe a thought leader, or certainly thinking ahead. I can see huge potential for AI, but I can also see with my safeguarding head on how we need to be cautious and how we need to adopt a real moral code around the use of it, and how we will establish AI literacy and have our own policy around that and the things that we do. But now I work smarter and not harder. I can do many more things in a day than I used to do. But I really do believe that AI can change the overwhelm that lots of us have and free us up as leaders to coach and interact and to give more to those who need more, especially those families and children who need our time as leaders and managers. And I believe that AI can free us up to do that. So, Marnie, hello, how are you?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm an ex-science and PE teacher, turned early years physical education company owner. I actually have been in the early years now for almost 11 years. I started working with Alison just pre-COVID on a joint venture called Inspiring Nurseries, and we were delivering Ofsted masterclasses all the way back then. And then COVID hit, and we delivered as many workshops and Q&As and tried to support the industry as much as we could in that time. With COVID come a lot of learning of new skills, right? So online business became like almost the new norm for us all. And that's actually when I started experimenting with automations and actually using AI tools. And I started using a copywriting tool called Jasper AI, which is still around. And that was in early 2022, before ChatGPT had even graced the world. So I have actually been on the AI journey for a really long time. I would say my superpower is strategy and looking forward to the opportunities that AI can create for the leader in the business. And it is a real privilege to be working with Alison again, because she brings that steady, safeguarding head that always thinks about guidance and everything about the industry. And although I'm in the industry, my brain is very like, oh, this tool can do this. And I get so excited about everything and anything with AI. And sometimes I have to be brought back down and think, okay, step by step, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's make sure we're doing things for security reasons and making sure. But like Alison, being a business owner, I'm juggling 101 hats, being a mum, 101 hats. And I honestly believe that since I started focusing on AI workflows, I have tripled my business successes. I have been able to train my team and other companies to be able to have their own AI advantage. And I do honestly love the earlier sector. And I think we are an industry that is super pivotal to society, yet we don't quite get the TLC that I think we believe. And because I know that AI is a revolution, like it's revolutionizing all industries, I don't want the early years to be left behind, and I want us to be able to do it, to adopt AI in a safe way. So super excited to be working with Alison on that.
Oh, that's lovely. Thanks so much, Marnie. So, what have we got planned for AI early years fundamentals? So it's really about the basics. I recognize that going to talk to lots of owners, and leaders and managers, many of which are on a one or two of their journey, just at the very beginning of AI and beginning to use ChatGPT, and as well as other AI tools as well. Our long term or our medium term really is to have a website where you'll be able to subscribe and to log in to access all of our training. It's going to be in one place. A monthly newsletter to keep you updated. We know that through our social media feeds, if we're talking about AI, we get lots of information through our social media feeds on whatever platform that you're on. But we really want to sift all of that out for you and have a monthly newsletters with some scenarios in, with how other people are using it, with maybe some ideas for prompts, et cetera, in that newsletter to keep you updated. And we're going to have monthly live and interactive calls. I know from having my own VIP circle area that those weekly calls that I provide in there are really useful. They help each other out. People are connecting, and we always solve problems in there as well. So having a monthly live and interactive call will help you to solve your AI problems if you have any, and if you're and challenges, and also celebrate your wins. So that's what we're going to do in the future. But currently, we've got that scorecard that many of you came in on, which is called Navigating AI in the Early Years Sector. And that's powered by Score app. And there is an AI tool in there as well. And with that, and obviously I used AI to help with some of those responses for you, because obviously there isn't enough time in the day. So I used AI to put that together. And from that, I've been able to see where some of you are at in your AI journey. But it's also that's a great way to generate leads as well. And so once we have those leads, we're just sort of talking to the people that are really interested at the minute before branching out and having a really big official launch, if you like. So we're doing a sort of a soft launch. So this Zoom is and this evening, and our first product is going to be a bundle that we're going to tell you a bit more about later once we show you a few things. So I believe that this is really a turning point. It's a time for change. We've got new EYFS coming. We've got new Ofsted coming. We've got new funding arrangements and a real resetting of group provision that I've been talking to Rekha this evening tonight about, actually. We know that we have one form of income, but we also have our outgoings as well. And myself, and I'm sure Marnie, and I'm sure all of you have had to really look at our outgoings now with the onset of AI and think, actually, could AI do some of those things? So I used to pay for a copywriter, so somebody that would read my blogs, etc., and it was really, really expensive. But now I just run it through, and I've trained one of my AIs in my blogs, so it can read my blogs and can also come out with sort of my sort of tone as well. So I've been looking at all my outgoings, the things that I've joined up, and now I'm saving money by not having those things anymore because I know that I can replicate that with AI. So that it's going to be a real turning point and time for change. And now really is the time to work smarter and not harder. We know that children and families need us more than ever, but we also know our teams need us more than ever. They need hands-on modeling, they need coaching, they need us to look after them and nurture them, and to make them the best that they can be. And we can only do that with the time that we've got. I've played around a bit with AI, and writing training sessions, and I'm going to show you a bit about what my EYFS assistant can do in a minute. But we know that AI won't replace us as individuals. It won't replace that cuddle. It won't replace those great, rich interactions and those movable faces that we know are really, really important in early years. So we know that it won't replace that. Not yet, anyway. Let's hope not. But what will it replace? It will certainly replace writing of newsletters, copywriting. Any other ideas, Marnie, of what AI will replace?
Yeah, so I think it's going to replace the mundane tasks like scrolling through emails and working out what's spam and what's not spam, being able to automatically chase invoices, be able to take your current curriculum plans and be able to add some more in-depth details about the children you've got and then adapt it that way rather than having to put through. But I think the really the most important thing that I'd like to maybe get across tonight is that I think we all have to start thinking about stepping into a leadership role that requires us to be more curious about what AI can do for us. So I actually have a sticky note on my laptop that says, "Can AI do this with me?" Now, it's really important. It's not for me, it's with me. Okay, because there is a lot of talk out there that says, people who try AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, and they say, "Oh, I just got, rubbish output." And it's like, well, you probably, one, didn't prompt the AI model enough, but two, you probably didn't give it enough context or information about you, the business, the outcome that you want. Okay, so not only is there the art of realizing that AI is there to be your collaborator and your strategic thinker, not just your doer. There is a big difference between people that are using AI like another Google versus those that are stepping into a leadership role and using an AI model as their strategic thinker and collaborator. So that's step number one. Two is learning how to communicate with your AI. So how to prompt, which in the AI Essentials training course, I go over that. But then lastly, we need to learn to train our AI models with our knowledge base, which is our domain expertise. And our domain expertise, we are all different. We have knowledge, experience, we've got perspective. We're at different journey. We're in different places and journeys of our career, but also the staff that we've got within our teams, within our settings. So we all have different domain expertise, and I believe it's up to us to be training the AIs about that domain expertise, because the children we're teaching right now, and I don't want to overwhelm you or scare you, but I want to maybe add a bit of a vision for you. In 10 years' time, they're going to have their own AI agents. They are going to have their own AI learning journeys. Scary, how we adopt it, how it looks, it's all really scary, but so was the internet, so was the smartphone, and so was social media. I do believe that we have a responsibility to train AIs to talk like us, think like us, show empathy, be able to be like how we're emotionally resilient, things like that. And that only comes from us communicating with AI models and creating our own AI assistants within our models that allows us to be able to have content back to us or be able to have conversations that are going to help us as leaders within the business. So I don't know if that answers the question about what it will replace, but that is where I am with trying to highlight that, especially for leaders within an industry like we are. I do think it's really, really important that we take that next step, level up, and we're not thinking about AI as another Google. And yes, we have fear. Change always brings fear. But we should be very curious if we can, and really set the path for the industry.
Most definitely. I think that human element is really important because it absolutely shouldn't take away what we're doing with children, which is making them curious, helping them to solve problems and be in challenge and talk to each other and listen to other and all of those skills are going to be really important moving forward. So they're not going to go away, but we just don't know what sort of jobs there's going to be. There's jobs being created around AI, obviously, as we speak, and there's jobs that are going as we speak. And I think our duty, obviously, is to make sure that play stays very much on the agenda. And it may be that AI creeps into some play. It may be that AI creeps into the way we help and support children, particularly around child development and thinking about different activities that we can do to strengthen a particular area of need. But it's all very, very exciting. So, Marnie, I had a couple of years ago, or probably about 18 months ago, I thought I know what I need to do. I need to design my ideal working week, which would make me free me up to have maybe half a day Friday, certainly not to work weekends, and to be a bit more strategic about the way that I work. But I know that you've put in the chat a little tool to help people design their own ideal working week too. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So I guess when we had this first conversation, you had said you'd got your pen and paper and you're writing down your ideal week, and my first response to you was, "Oh, did you use AI?" Because again, my mindset is, can AI help me do this or collaborate with me and do this quicker, faster? And I think as humans, what we don't realize, especially in roles that we've got, is that we have a really high mental load. We are thinking about a lot of things and there's a lot going on in our head. And often that can take away our creativity, which sometimes we feel, well, I know that I feel sometimes I miss that when I'm working with my staff or even working with the children. I'm not present because I'm thinking about other things. So the reason I always say, let's see if we can do it with AI, is I challenge you to say, actually, could you possibly ask AI to be your business coach? Is there meant to be a link in there? Do you mind copying and pasting the link, Alison, back into the chat?
Has it
Um,
gone?
yeah, I think because they only
Because
jumped
other
on a little bit
people,
later.
okay.
Yeah. So I just challenge you to jump onto ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to be your business. I'm actually going to read the prompt for you as well, in case you're online. I just said, hello, can you please be my expert business productivity coach and help me get out of my own way and stop procrastinating, be more efficient and have more energy. I need to write what my ideal week will look like if I move from working 5 days to 4. Please ask me any clarifying questions for you to help me with this task. So that was just an example of a prompt that you could use. In the training presentation that we do later on in the bundle, I go over prompt engineering because it is a really important skill to do. But what I wanted to show you was the questions that come back with. So it came back with 6 questions. What are your non-negotiables each week? What gives you energy versus what drains you, and so on and so on. Now, have a little think to yourself and be honest. Would you have thought about those questions when you were designing your ideal week? And that is the power of collaborating with AI. And not only will this task, cut down by half, probably even way more than half, it will take you a quarter of the time to do that task than it would if you tried to do it on your own.
Most certainly. Brilliant, Marnie. I love it. Uh, so, Marnie, there are many AIs out there. I've got a couple of paid ones. I know you've got more than a couple of paid ones. But why did we start with ChatGPT? What is it about ChatGPT? Why did we want to start here with AI early as fundamentals?
I think it is obviously the most downloaded app is back at the top. It had more downloads than Facebook in the first 2 days than Facebook had in 10 years. So we know it's very popular and it's around. I like to call it the army Swiss knife of AI models. It has a lot of features. So you can create images, you can use voice, so you can talk. It's got a really good memory. You can upload documents. You can create projects of which you are in your project able to give it your personal knowledge base as well as some custom instructions. You can use GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers is what that stands for. And that is just basically a chat that is specifically trained to talk to you or give you an outcome in a specific way. And we've created a GPT for you, and we'll explain that in a little bit as well. You can create your own, but there's plenty of GPTs that you can also use. Believe it or not, my favorite is actually the medical library GPT, because my 3-year-old is forever sick. So instead of Googling, I'm on the medical library GPT asking questions, and I'm feeling much more confident than going down the Google rabbit hole of, seeing what's on Google. So it's the army Swiss knife is one of the reasons. The projects, the GPTs, they have really good data security. So you can actually go in, and if it's okay, I'll quickly give you the instructions now. We had a question, where do you find all these GPTs? So on your platform, Rekha, on either your phone or your laptop, at the top left, there'll be something that says explore GPTs. And you'll be able to explore GPTs that way. what was I saying? Data security. So I would highly recommend that each of you go into your ChatGPT account, if you've got a ChatGPT account, and you go to settings. And in the settings tab, you can, I think it's called data controls. And then you can toggle off, it says improve the model for everyone. Now, if you can toggle that off, this prevents your data from being used to train the model. I haven't toggled it off because, again, my personal belief and perspective is that we have a role to play in training AI for the next generation. But saying that, I do have AI assistants that have my IP, so a lot of my intellectual property related to my Sporty Minis business, and that is in my Teams account. So on ChatGPT, you can also have a Teams account, and this is how I do it. I have my personal ChatGPT account linked to my Gmail. Then I've created a Teams account linked to a Sporty Minis email, and in that Teams account, any of my team can use that chat. I have some AI assistants in there. I also have some GPTs for my staff in there as well. But because of that, in that Teams account, the data is only used within that Teams account. It is not used. No one else can see or use that training data, except there is a little bit of small print that says that AI, and I can't remember exactly what it says. It says something like the AI team can have access, but it's not used for training. So they're just a couple of things to consider. Where we are now with ChatGPT is it is one of 4 or 5 major LLMs, large learning models. Many platforms are now arising, of which, and John alluded to this earlier, of which you can have access to these LLMs, but your platform is your platform as the business. And I think that's where we'll all end up. So we'll all end up with our own different AI models, and we'll all have a platform linked to our businesses. We're not there yet, and there's no hurry to get there, but I think that's where we will end up being. So hopefully that answers the question about why ChatGPT, and a little bit about data and security.
Brilliant, Marnie. Thanks so much. So, Marnie, you and I had a chat a good few months ago now, and we talked about you creating a GBT, and that was my wish and that was my dream. Can you tell us a bit more about how you trained and how we trained my EYFS assistant, and the sorts of things that we uploaded? I know that I gave you, I think it was 121 links, wasn't it, or something like that, or
Yeah,
PDF.
yeah, yeah,
So I
121.
I gave Marnie because I very much wanted a really trusted source of information. So I didn't go to lots of random websites. I've gone to government websites. I've gone to trusted sources. The Education Endowment Fund stuff is in there, and trusted sources for my EYFS assistant. We've also trained it, so those of you that know me will know that I'm absolutely don't like a Mockstead, and don't advocate a Mockstead. And I was playing with it and training it, and it came up and suggested a Mockstead, and I was absolutely horrified and mortified. So I've been able to go to and fro with Marnie and say, actually, can you suggest that people are a bit more critically reflective and use their self-evaluation tool and give them some coaching ideas of how to continually develop rather than going to find a Mockstead. But Marnie, how did we train my EYFS assistant?
Yeah, so like you said before, the first thing we did was we got a list of the trusted sources that would cover the whole EYFS. So we created that and we used that as our knowledge base. When we went in to customize the GPT, we also made sure it does not search the web. Okay, so when you use this GPT, it's not about searching the web because we don't want it to come up with non-trusted sources. Okay, so you can trust that they're only going to be the EYFS sources that Ellison has already sourced and checked through and is happy. So that was creating the knowledge base. The next was to create what we call the custom instructions, which is basically the purpose of the GPT. So we gave it a role being an early years consultant, an expert in and we listed all of the core areas of the EYFS. We then gave it it's called parameters on how we want it to answer. So Alison, you just said exactly that. You said replying with families. She's very easy to work with, I promise, but I did get a whole lot of lists of things that she wanted, to make sure that it replies with. And I have a little secret sauce when I create my GPTs, and I say, if you answer with the following, and I always put in the parameters of what I want it to answer with, I will give you £100. If you don't, I will fine you £200, right? It's just a little something quirky that I learned when creating GPTs, but it's more just saying you have to answer like this. You have to take on this role and you have to give the answers with the knowledge base that you have and nothing else. And then we created a whole lot of prompts that are easy to use. So those prompts are, because the GPT already has its context, its knowledge, its role, you don't need to add any of that when you're talking to this EYFS GPT. And that is the difference between a general chat, or the major difference between a general chat and using the EYFS, My EYFS Assistant. The general chat GPT chat, or even if you're in another AI model, you would have to prompt it and you would have to give it context. Please be my expert role, deliver this task, here's the information, this is the outcome. You have to do that. In this GPT, we have already trained with those prompts. So you just need to talk to it like it's your best friend.
Amazing.
Hopefully that explains it.
Yeah, and just so other people know, I've uploaded working together to safeguard children, keeping children safe in education, and all of the links that are in the EYFS as well, of which there are about 36. We absolutely know, Marnie and I, that we've got new information coming to us. So we've got the recently EYFS around nutrition. That's due to be uploaded. We've also got a new EYFS and the safeguarding reforms. And Marnie will talk to it and say, use the most recent EYFS when we do that and when it's out to us. So we're constantly going to be retraining it. And it's my understanding, Marnie, that my EYFS assistant, if you upload if you change and adapt the main one, that's going to affect everybody's moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you use that link. You had a question from Rekha about wraparound care, and I believe the
Yes,
answer is
Rekha,
yes.
wraparound care is mentioned in the EYFS. Actually, that's a good point. I haven't uploaded the wraparound care safeguarding, but we could absolutely do that. And it may be, Marnie, that if there's a big call for the wraparound care, that we can have a wraparound care GBT. We're also planning with the new Ofsted in mind, an Ofsted GBT, and we're planning other GBTs as well. We're steering clear of child development GBTs because I think that's a whole minefield, and I think, you know, without a doubt, this is very much about wanting to help you as leaders and managers do that. So we're going to show you in action. So I've just put in the chat. So very often when I go to nurseries and preschools, I help them to develop an action development plan. And this is basically one of my core things that I do, and people are left with the action and development plan and they're able to move forward. So the one that I've uploaded there to you has just got the actions, and it's an adapted one from one I did the other day. And I couldn't believe it, and I had to tell Marnie right in the middle, right at the end of the day, middle when she was doing something. I can't believe how my EYFS assistant has helped me today, because it absolutely blew me away. So I uploaded, and I showed the provider that I was doing that, uploaded their action development plan and asked it lots of questions, and it wrote training for the team. It's helped them to write policies around the team, for the team. It helped them to do short trainings. It helped them to write emails, all sorts of things based on their action and development plan. So they were completely blown away. And quite honestly, that was probably that would have taken me about 5 days work to do. So open up the action and development plan there, and you can scroll down and sort of think, actually, that is probably the sorts of things that we're working on and we're doing as well. So
Are you okay to share your screen, Alison?
I am going to share my screen. Let me just go to
Thank
the
you.
right section. There we go. Okay, so this is my EYFS Assistant, and I've already uploaded the EYFS Action Development Plan there. I just need to, oh, where is it? I've lost the prompt. Let me just find the prompt because I've closed it.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to jump in and say to everybody, see how it says My EYFS Assistant designed to support early years owners, leaders and managers in the EYFS group provisions. And then there's 4 little boxes underneath. They're examples of prompts of which if you click on, it will talk to you. It will basically create whatever that says. So one of the says, what topics should I include in my staff training? So if you click on that and say, what topics should I include in my staff training? It will come up with things, but you can go back and say, actually, I've already delivered X, Y, Z. Okay. And then that way it's starting a bit. We've got 4 there. We actually have, which we will include, I think we've got something like 28 prompts that you could potentially use. So if you're just a little bit curious about actually what could I use the EYFS Assistant for, we've given you 28 ideas to start.
Wow, amazing. So this prompt is on the bottom of the action development plan. So you could try this prompt in your own ChatGPT, or you can try it with my EYFS Assistant. So let's put that in. This is obviously in real time, searching my knowledge. Wow, here we go. Short-term priorities, 1 to 3 months. So it's what because the action development plan was a bit sporadic. There was lots of things in different sorts of places to test it. So it's grouped it, put it into safeguarding and compliance. And I didn't tell it. I'm not sure if I told it that. I probably did, but that's obviously one of the first things that we need to think about is safeguarding. So here it is: undertake a safeguarding audit, review safeguarding, ensure policies align with local safeguarding partnerships, provide Annex C safeguarding training. So we've uploaded that. Ensure all safeguarding policies, procedures, and SOPs are updated. So SOPs are standard operating procedures, something that I very much advocate and talk to providers around because they really do solve lots of problems and pain points. So we've trained it to talk about that. Review and ensure robust action for concerns about a child, allegations against staff, use of mobile phones and devices, online safeguarding. Oh my word. So it's put all of those into a group, and then it's come up with some Ofsted readiness, ensure access to the Ofsted portal and team readiness, review the key person approach. It's there given 3.34 in the current EYFS, strengthen the key person system, review the cycle of supervision and consider appraisals, define staff expectations in safeguarding and conduct policies, review systems for record keeping. So dependencies are so lots of these actions are dependent on something else happening first. So you can't, for example, release your website until you've got your content on it. So there's a little prompt there around dependencies. We've got some medium-term partnerships, professional development, long-term goals, etc. Key dependencies and bottleneck reflective questions. We have trained it to provide some reflective questions. So really encouraging you to have that human element. Have you allocated time for each priority area within your team calendar and staff meetings? Well, most definitely not just yet. What systems are in place to track progress across these timeframes? Interesting question. What tasks could be delegated or acquired or require specialist support, i.e. safeguarding trainer, HR consultant? How much might you involve staff and families in shaping and evaluating progress? So not only is it helping you to put all of those things in one place in and use them in a sensible order, it's encouraging you to really think as well and add in there. Does anybody want to put in the chat a little prompt?
little next
Anybody got a
questions.
little prompt? Is there a little?
I think I think what's also great about ChatGPT, Alison, is it always gives you the next step. So it says here, would you like this turned into a visual chart spreadsheet, or can I help you with specific policy sections? Right, like that is the great thing about the AI model. It's almost going, okay, what's the next level thinking that you would like me to help you with? And again, that's that mindset shift I'm talking about when using this AI model. One of the biggest things I think with us as humans using this AI is we're often the bottleneck because we don't realize how much it can help us, and we almost don't allow it to ask us more questions. So always maybe think about your AI and this EYFS assistant as well as being the person the one that also interviews you as well. So you could say something like, ask me questions about one of those sections in there, about what we've done already or what we are doing. Like really start to use it as your strategic thinking partner. It's really, really important. You will fly in
Mm.
leadership with AI if you can do that.
And it's very much about it is a relationship that you're building up, isn't it? Well, no, that sounds really weird, but it's a bit like, very sadly, when I dropped my phone once, I said sorry to it. And then that was the point that I realized actually this is a relationship that I'm having with the phone. And I think we're all sensible enough to know that, that and to work our way around that and around our thoughts and feelings about these things. But they are really truly here to help us. And I definitely know that this is certainly something that will help you. It will probably replace me as a consultant. It will probably replace me as a trainer, but it will also skill you up as leaders and managers and help you to really really take back and really feel empowered. This is absolutely a trusted source. Now, if you don't feel that it's giving you the results that you need, have a little play with it and train it yourself, because it will also react to what you're inputting. But we have a form that we encourage you to use that will, or you can absolutely contact us, and if anything sort of alerts you in there at the minute, because obviously this is its first time out in the public domain. But it's just going to get better and better and better, which obviously all AI is. But I really do have my finger on the pulse around that one. Marnie, what were you going to say?
I think it's really important to just do one logistical thing for people is if you do purchase this EYFS assistant and you do use it, every time you click on the link, it will come up with a new chat. But if you are chatting with it, so say you wanted to go back and start the conversation again about this action plan, you would have to find in your chats and under the GPT section on the left-hand side, you'd have to find this EYFS and then the chats will come up. So you can still use the same chat, but just be really aware that you you can start a new chat with this EYFS on a completely different topic that you want to talk about. You just have to re-click on the EYFS assistant link. So I hope that makes sense. And actually, I'd like to challenge your thinking on AI replacing you, Alison, because I actually do believe that AI is going to bring back that human connection. We're going to really want that human connection, but you, as the AI consultant and the expert, is actually going to be able to. You're going to be able to, have superpowers that are able to allow you to do things better, faster. You can then serve more people, make more impact. But I do honestly believe that we are going to want that human connection if we're constantly talking to AI assistants and AI agents going through.
Hmm.
You don't need a particular version of ChatGPT. You don't. You can use it on a free account.
So, Rekka's, I'm just going to put in there, can you write me a new key person policy? So while it's doing that, Rekka said, how long does it take for us as leaders of our settings, or even personally, to train ChatGPT in our voice, our purpose, our nature, and how long did it take you? So if you've got something like, you would definitely need to know your messaging, the sorts of things that how So your vision, I would definitely make sure that you've got a really good vision. I would make sure that you've got really strong values. You could probably upload sections of your welcome packs to parents, so it will begin to get to know you and your tone. Through that, you could upload some policies that you've written already, although you might want to upload some of those and ask it to review your policies. Um, Sometimes branding people have what's called a discovery book that actually says, because I tend to refer to teams rather than staff, so I would use that wording, always use the word team rather than staff. I tend to use the word families rather than parents, which is what Marnie was talking about earlier. So there will be some nuances that you could absolutely make a list of, and then you could upload it and train it in that way. Does that help, Rekha?
And just to add to that, Rekha, if I may, that is my business. I help business leaders in business and business owners train their AI models, and we do it via assistants, which is a paid version because again it's via projects. And I would encourage you, I mean, I have something like 21 assistants. I have a CEO assistant, I have an email marketing assistant, I have a HR assistant. They're all trained on all of my business data, but also customized for what I want them to do. But you can do like a free version. So in your ChatGPT account, you can actually customize. So you can go to customization. And the first customization that I have is please respond in UK English. Because I hate all the Z's in the words, right?
Yeah.
So UK English, again, if you had some nuance about, so I talk about, I put a few things about myself and my businesses and my roles. And so it has that information already. But ChatGPT honestly brings out a new model like every couple of weeks, and the new models are absolutely phenomenal, and they have a new memory as well. So now what you'll notice is it will say, when I start my first chat, I go hello, blah 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 blah, and then it will say hi Marnie. And then it will say, are you talking about sporty minis or are you talking about business with AI strategists? And I'm like, oh gosh, like it knows so much about me already without me even using those projects.
Wow.
So I hope that answers the question.
So here's the key person policy that it's just come up with there: cover for absences, transitions, monitor and review, safeguarding policies, legal framework. That's the framework that's used. So yes, basically I've tested it. I've used questions that people ask me regularly. I've used it in questions that I see on social media. And it's given me really good answers. And if I wasn't happy with the answer, I was able to redefine it and relook at it as well. So, Marnie, we do have a bundle for people, don't we? And we're just going to tell people a bit more about that. So the bundle is available. It's currently on my Stand store, which I just literally just find a link for that. And it's got a few different things in it. It's definitely got the training that Marnie was talking about. So Marnie, do you just want to talk about the training?
Sure. So it's you've put it's just under an hour. I tried to make it much shorter, but I seem to get a bit carried away because obviously, as you can probably tell, I love all things talking about AI and opportunities and possibilities. So I got a little bit carried away. It's just under an hour, and I cover what I call the AI fundamentals. So what is AI? Generative AI, the future and where we're going, prompt engineering. I do a little bit around how to train your AI, and then I give use cases on different AI models that you could use. So, for example, there is an AI model called Grok, which is X's AI, Elon Musk, and it's super creative, got a really cool vibe about it. So I put a little prompt there and I show how you could possibly use it. It was about creating a story for circle time related to, it was something to do with children. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was something to do with children in your circle time, like being really specific to the children you have. And then we used Claude to write a new parent email. So I showed you how to use Claude AI for that. I also showed you how to use ChatGPT, and I think it was around designing your day or helping creating a new schedule for your day to fit in with different children's learning styles or what they need throughout the day. And then I can't remember the last one that I showed you. I think it might have been Gemini, and it might have been something about deep research, because you can do a whole lot of research. So if you need to do some child psychology or anything related to that, you can actually use deep research in that. So I show you different models and how you'd want to use it. And then I just explain the EYFS assistant again in that training.
Amazing. It's also got a starter guide PDF to ChatGPT, and in there is the link to my EYFS Assistant. So it's all bundled up together. You can literally copy and paste the link into your browser, and it will show up in your GPT, whether you've got the free version or the paid version. I've popped a blog in there. It's also got a draft AI policy. It has been checked, the AI policy, and you can obviously adapt that and make it your own as well, which is why it's a draft one. It's got the sample EYFS group provision action development plan there, and you can absolutely use that blank and change it and make your own action development plan out of that, and put in the prompts that's on the bottom of that to help you, or of course make your own prompts around that. It's got a copy of the blog that I just produced a couple of days ago. It's also got the copyright notice, which is really important, and a disclaimer as well. And I do urge you to read both of those documents because they're very important part of what we do as well. And really and truly, this little package is going to save you hours of time. It's going to empower you and it's going to empower your team as well. And honestly, it will really change your lives. There's going to be before AI and after AI. But if you're at the beginning of the journey, that's great because we do have your email, and we're going to keep regularly serving you with newsletters and new ideas and new ways of working. And then you will be the absolute first to know when our website goes live, and you'll be invited in to subscribe to more trainings and more advice and more support as well. So let me get back to the chat. Let me just put that in the chat. So as a follow-up, we're going to ask you to we're going to send you an email with all this information in, so you don't have to remember it all at once. And it's also going to have the link for the bundle there, the Standstore bundle that I've just popped to that in there for. It is drastically reduced at £27 a day. So all of that information will be in there along with my EYFS Assistant, and you will be off and running. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to stop the recording now. Marnie, thank you so much. It's been really, really interesting working with you. And I am on my AI journey as well with you. And you're teaching me so much. And I really look forward to more GPTs and more ways of working and helping the sector with AI. So thanks, Marnie. We're just going to stop and then we'll open to questions.